We're talking New Year's Six bowl predictions. Jake, I've got my best bets here. And usually these games mean a lot, but now in the recent years, it's kind of dwindled away because players are opting out.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. These used to be the biggest games the entire season, biggest games that every team wanted to be in, every player wanted to play in. Nowadays, it just seems like if you didn't make the playoffs, these players don't really want to play in the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, but that'll change next year when the playoff gives relevance to these games once again with 12 teams making the playoffs. But for now, we still got some interesting matchups and money to be made. So I'm excited for these games still.
All top 25 matchups, teams with potential playoff hopes just a few weeks back. Now, at this line, we're starting with Missouri, Ohio State. This line started at Ohio State -6, then it moved to Mizzou -2.5. Now we're at Mizzou -1, but here's the bottom line. Ohio State is still the better team in terms of talent. Now, Missouri's been great this year, but their best wins were against Kansas State and Tennessee. They lost to Georgia and LSU, who are the only teams on the schedule comparable to Ohio State. Regardless, they've got momentum. They won their last 3 games. They hit 12 wins, and their top 25 offense can score even though the Jim Knowles defense can slow them down a little bit. Here's why I'm going to ride Missouri, though. Kyle McCord was average at best this year. Devin Brown's making his first start. The reports were that he had a turnover issue in practice. So if he's going to carry that energy into this one, Mizzou's going to have no problem capitalizing on mistakes, and they can finish this year better than anyone in the country ever imagined they would.
Yeah, Mizzou definitely had a very successful season for them, and they deserve to make it to this Cotton Bowl, and it's a great year for them. But I think that's where it's going to end. Ohio State had one of the strongest defenses in the entire country this season. 3rd in yards allowed, 2nd in points allowed. They're only giving up 11.5 points per game. The only defense that Mizzou played that's even comparable to Ohio State is Georgia, and Georgia beat them pretty soundly, and they only gave up 21 points to them. I don't think Ohio State's going to score a ton of points, but even with all the transfers and guys who aren't playing in this game, they just have 4 and 5 stars to replace them, guys who have been eagerly waiting for their opportunity and their shot. Ohio State backups in the past have gone out to be Heisman Trophy winners and MVPs of the NFL, so they've got tons of talent there ready to go. I think Ryan Day is going to have them plenty motivated because I think that after losing to Georgia last year, losing to Mich back-to-back years, he needs to have a nice signature victory to kind of get some fans kind of off his case. I think Ohio State's defense is too strong here. I'm riding with them.
Next, we got Florida State and Georgia. This line is now at Georgia -14.5.
Yep, motivation here I think is going to be the name of the game. Which of these two teams that both thought they deserved to be in the college football playoff is going to be hyped up to play in an Orange Bowl that functionally really means nothing? Georgia is a back-to-back national champion. They've lost 1 game in the last 2 years, and they don't get to fight for their spot in the playoffs. And yet, I think they're going to be the more motivated team. Florida State, I personally believe the committee made the right choice with Alabama. But Florida State got to be thinking that they got absolutely screwed. And it's going to be tough for any of them to have any sort of motivation, to keep any sort of positive attitude. And they have a ton of players sitting out. Tons of guys, I think the most in the entire country, at least in terms of production, of the key players are out. Jordan Travis still out for this game. Tate Rodemaker just absolutely sucks. There's no way in my mind he's going to be able to do anything against this Georgia defense. I trust them more. Again, even with the guys that are sitting out for Georgia, they've got tons of amazing talent ready to go, ready to step up. I think they're going to roll in this game.
I thought Florida State would want to win this one, but the news that they want to leave the ACC and all the tantrum throwing we've seen over the past few weeks, I just don't think is going to play out too well. Georgia's pissed off that they missed the playoff too, but they're not whining about it like FSU is. And they have a better reason to whine since they're a way better team. I think Georgia wins, they cover, they probably beat them by 21 plus, and they're going to make a point in this game because just like the rest of us, they're tired of hearing Florida State complain. Next, we've got Ole Miss and Penn State. Penn State, a 4-point favorite. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like this game. I don't want to take a side. Both teams are good. They're not great. Ole Miss has no defense, and Penn State's shown that they're really good at stopping good offenses. Now, the last 2 bowl games Ole Miss played in were against Baylor and Texas Tech, both teams who they should have beat, but they lost by 14 plus both times. Lane Kiffin wants a playoff berth, and I don't think he takes these other bowl games all that serious, so he's been out on the trail recruiting. He's been trying to build towards next year. He landed one of the best portal classes in the nation again, and I just think Penn State's more focused. They always play motivated. They're disciplined, so even though it feels like a lot of points at 4, I'm going to give the points, and I'm going to take Penn State.
Penn State, number 2 rush defense in the entire country this season. As we mentioned in our video earlier in the week, talking about underdogs, James Madison was number 1. But I don't think anyone realistically thinks that James Madison's run defense is actually better than Penn State's. It's just due to going against worse competition. So Penn State functionally has the best rush defense in the entire country. And Ole Miss, as we know, likes to run the ball. Not a great matchup there. Penn State, they lost defensive coordinator Manny Diaz, but they're bringing in a far superior replacement, Tom Allen, who is an incredible players coach, and he gets his players to buy in and love each other and get everybody super hyped and ready to play. Obviously, Allen's not going to be coaching anything, but I think him, even in the building, is going to get these guys fired up and ready to go. And I think Penn State's just going to play with a lot more motivation. I think Franklin wants to win this game a lot more than Lane Kiffin does. And 4 points, even though is a little bit too much, I'd rather have it be 3. I think Penn State's still to play here.
Last, we've got the Fiesta Bowl. I will be at this game, and I was hoping it was going to be a better matchup. But the more I looked into it, I realized, wait, there have been some pretty good Fiesta Bowls in the past against teams who were come from a lower division playing against, I don't want to call Oregon a blue blood, but a recent blue blood since they've been so dominant. What do you think about this one?
My play on this game is actually going to be over 67. 17 points is a lot to lay, but Oregon's offense is just absolutely nasty, and Bo Nix is playing in this game. They have athletes all over the field. Even though Bucky Irving's not playing, they still got plenty of good running backs. And I have no doubt that Oregon is going to be able to put up points. And we know that Coach Dan Lanning plays all out. He does not like to take his foot off the gas, and he is willing to score 50, 60 points if that's what it takes. Liberty was averaging over 40 points a game per season as well. And Jamie Chadwell is a great coach in and of his own right. Had success at Coastal Carolina, now at Liberty. You give him a month to scheme up against Oregon's defense. I have no doubt that Caden Salter, who was a great quarterback, is going to be able to find plays and get some points. I really think that Liberty only going to need 28 points in this game to hit the over, because I think Oregon's going to score 40, and I think they're going to be able to do that. Liberty overs are on a 6-1 streak to end the season. We know Oregon's got a great offense, and they're going to score plenty of points for themselves. I think 67 is too low. I'm going to ride the over in this game.
You know, Liberty's got a top 50 defense. You said they have a top 5 offense. So even though Nix is playing and Oregon wants to go out with a bang, Liberty's got their own studs. And it's Chadwell's first New Year's Six bowl game. And I know they love that they're getting a shot at Oregon, because now they can finally prove that the hype is real. They're not just a bummy 13-0 team. I think it's easy to look at this schedule and say they've played nobody, but at the same time, look at the margins. They won by 10 or more every single game this year, except for one time. They beat New Mexico State twice, who was the best team in the conference, and I don't think they're going to go into Phoenix and just lay down. It kind of reminds me of that Boise State OU game back in 2007 or whenever that was, when the spread was much smaller than 17, but kind of the same idea. This is a powerhouse program versus a team who had moved over from the FCS within the last 10 years, and they've got something to prove. I like the over, and I like Liberty to cover. But if you want to take this game, or if you want to take any of the games we talked about, or if you want to play NFL or any other sport, you can sign up to play on BroThrow for free if you click the link in the description box below. It's brothrow.com/YouTube. The promo code to get in is YouTube. But you get to play on BroThrow at even money odds. So as you see on the screen, plus 17 at $50, you'll win $50. The money line spreads are all, or the money line odds, are all better than anything else you'll find online. So if you want to play where Jake and I do, you can sign up for BroThrow for free. Jake, I'm excited for these games. Can't wait to make our playoff picks, and I will see you in the next one.
Absolutely. Peace out. Happy holidays.